Behind me is Ashton Court Mansion, a historic building on the outskirts of the big city of Bristol. It's just a short hop from the west end of Brunel's iconic Clifton Suspension Bridge. It's set in a beautiful green park of 850 acres, and it goes back to Saxon times. The estate even gets a mention in the Domesday Book. The park and the mansion are in the county of Somerset, but they belong to the council of the city and county of Bristol, who bought it from the estate of its last aristocratic owner in 1959. Ashton Court Estate has been very well used ever since. It includes a public golf course and loads of open spaces for fairs, festivals, and Bristol's famous balloon fiesta. But the mansion itself is a sad story. The building is a potpourri of architectural styles which reflect its incremental development over centuries. They include everything from Strawberry Hill Gothic with faux Renaissance and Tudor, along with pseudo-medieval battlements. Though dating from Saxon times, what we see now is really a 19th century fantasy. Despite that, it's now a Grade 1 listed building. When the last of its private owners died, lack of funds led to the structure falling into decline. Eventually, in the 1960s, about a third of the house was simply demolished. In the 1970s, there was a small respite, and less than a quarter of the remaining building was restored. And until 2018, it was used for conferences and weddings. But the remainder continued to be neglected. All the upper floors are now unusable, and most areas are unsafe to even enter. It's very, very sad. But now there are aspirations to restore the mansion into full use. Most people think this is good news. Yet why? Why do we treasure old buildings? What is it about them that makes us so passionate? Perhaps it's time to have a rethink. When the word heritage is mentioned in Britain, we tend to think of the National Trust or English heritage. We think of grand old houses with gardens and cream teas in the orangery. Not to forget, of course, the overpriced gift shop. This heritage, to be honest, all starts to look the same. Even houses still in private ownership are museums. And what do museums have in them? Dead things. Egyptian mummies and stuffed animals, things made by dead people. They are temples to the deceased. In fact, not just people, but whole ways of life. What do we learn from such buildings? Well, to be honest, not very much. They tend to be very sanitised. If it's education you want, the internet is far better. And even before the age of the computer, you could learn more from a book than a tea room with an old house on the side of it. Now, some old buildings were the location of important historic events. They may be worth preserving, but the majority of preserved buildings are simply old. 3 miles that way is Tinsfield House, a largely Victorian Gothic pile. It was bought by the National Trust in 2002 to prevent it being sold to private interests and ensure it would be open to the public. Why? It had never been open to the public before. Why was it interesting? Nothing historic ever happened there. The former owners, well, they made a fortune selling bird shit as fertiliser. Tinsfield House, protected from ownership by private interests, is now kept by the National Trust in excellent condition. In the Trust's care, it will live forever, but it is essentially dead. No life, frozen in time. It has no real purpose. It is pointless. Here's the deal. Unlike Ashton Court, with its decaying floor and the rain coming in, Tinsfield has bought eternal life. This is the Faustian Pact for heritage buildings. They get eternal life by selling their souls. Shouldn't old buildings be used for real purposes? If Ashton Court Mansion were to be restored, decisions would shortly have to be made about it. Is it a building that will live again, provide a real purpose? Or will it seal a Faustian Pact and exist forever as a zombie? Would Ashton Court not have more real life if it were to be used as offices, as an educational establishment, or even, horror of horrors, for retail or residential? Why the hell not? Why can't it house homeless people? At least it would be alive with a real use. Ashton Court Mansion is at a historic turning point. Its future is about to be decided. Will it sell its soul like the legend of Faust for eternal life, like a stuffed animal? Or will it be rejuvenated? What do you think? 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 What do you think?
And this old house where I live my life. And this old house gonna make you my wife. Yeah. And this old house is part of me. And this old house is where you should be.